There isn't a man, woman or child who doesn't love the 911 GT3. But that's not to say that everybody would buy one given the chance. For some people, the car was just a bit too conspicuous. Enter the GT3 Touring, which promises all the thrills of the standard car in a much more understated package. The most eye-catching element on the GT3 was its giant swan neck wing, big enough to eat your dinner off or do the ironing on. It was perfect for delivering heaps of downforce and for impressing small children. But the GT3 Touring does away with that. But you still do get a retractable rear spoiler, which deploys for when you need extra downforce or folds away for when you want to fly under the radar. Plus, it still looks really mean back here. I love this chicken wire style stuff on the engine cover, the high level brake light hidden away under this mini spoiler, GT3 Touring badge, really delicious, lovely rear light cluster, these twin center exit exhausts and massive rear diffuser. There are some other subtle changes for the Touring model, which incidentally has the same £127,000 price tag as the standard GT3. These cars now have the option of chrome or black trim around the windows, and the front now has body-colored panels which make it look slightly less like the GT3 has swallowed another car. But even though it's less aggressive on the outside, don't be fooled. This version is every bit as eye-opening as the GT3. Mechanically, it's identical to the standard GT3, so it uses the same 4-litre flat-six engine that's derived from Porsche's GT3 race cars. It makes 510 PS at 8,400 RPM, and if you keep your foot pinned, it will rev all the way to 9,000 RPM. It's such a treat. Honestly, I'm going to shut up now and just let you listen to it. Check this out. That is absolutely outrageous. Most cars only rev to around 6,000 RPM and make peak power somewhere between 4,000 and 5,000, so there's no need for them to rev that high, but this comes to life between 8,000 and 9,000 RPM. It's unreal. The first time you experience it, you feel like you're gonna break the engine, it's gonna bounce off the rev limiter or just go bang, but it doesn't. Keep your foot pinned, and it just rewards you, it just sings. Now, as for what I'm changing gears with, this might look like a manual stick shift, but it's not. It's a PDK in this car. The GT3 is available for the first time ever with a 7-speed PDK. Now, I know what you're thinking, it would have been better with a manual, and I agree with you, that would have been an ideal pairing, especially with this engine. However, don't write off the PDK because it is a brilliant gearbox. Honestly, it's super rewarding, super fast, super snappy, and actually super engaging because the machine does exactly what you want it to, when you want it to. It's a properly fast car, this thing. Porsche say it will do 0 to 62 in 3.3 seconds. Let's just experience what that feels like, shall we? See what that's all about. Put it into track mode, foot on the brake, foot on the accelerator, send it. Oh, 8,000. 8,000. It's rear engine and rear wheel drive, and having the engine over the rear axle just provides extra weight and extra traction, and it just shoots you towards the horizon. It's properly impressive. The amount of acceleration you get obviously starts to fade the faster you go. There are supercars that will keep pulling and pulling and pulling. This thing will only do 0 to 200 kph or 0 to 124 miles an hour in 10.8 seconds. And there are supercars that will do that in 7s, but it still feels quick. And the sensation you get from piling on the revs as you head towards the red line at 9,000, it makes it feel every bit as eventful as supercars with even more power. Honestly, it's easy to find other supercars with 30% more grunt, but this delivers 100% more fun. Stopping power is provided by 408mm steel discs up front, 380mm on the rear, although this test car was fitted with the optional carbon ceramic discs. And these brakes are absolutely outstanding. Not only strong and easy to modulate, but also the amount of feedback you get from the pedal. It just lets you know exactly how much grip is in there. It's good. The steering is outstanding. Honestly, there's so much feel and feedback. Even in a straight line, you can feel what the road's doing as the car flows over the surface. And it weights up really well as you pile on the lock into a corner. It's not quite as impressive as the hydraulic systems that McLaren use in the 600 LT, for example, but it's pretty damn good. As for grip, there's absolute tons of the stuff. This thing will go around corners as quick as pretty much anything. It uses Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 rubber, and as long as you've got some heat in the tyres, it will take your face off around the bends.
The balance in the GT3 is extraordinary. It uses the same double wishbone front suspension as the 911 RSR race car, which helps provide immense stability and grip. Finding understeer anywhere outside of a racetrack is unlikely. Oversteer is present. It's a playful car, but only if you go looking for it or fail to respect the power. The Touring has less rear downforce, but on roads that's hardly a concern. Plus, if you hadn't noticed, that retractable rear wing isn't exactly tiny.
Is it a car you could drive every day? I think it's a car you will want to drive every day just because of that engine. There's almost nothing on earth like it. Being able to rev to 9,000 RPM is just a sensational feeling. It's unbelievable.
The most remarkable thing about the GT3 Touring is that to most eyes, it's just a 911. It's easy enough to mistake for an entry-level Carrera. The lack of giant wings and other aerodynamic addenda make it ideal for those who don't want to shout from the rooftops about just how special a version of the 911 they really have. It's a secret weapon. Sure, it might be a little on the noisy side, and I dare say the 911 Turbo is an even faster car in a straight line and a more comfortable one that has a greater breadth of capability. That's undeniable.
But that aside, you could live with it. There's a front trunk, there's a bit of space in the back, no seats back there, but enough room for stuff, golf clubs, shopping, etc. It's got a nose lift feature, the suspension is compliant, it goes over speed bumps well. It's the kind of car that once you're in it, you'll never want to get out of. It's brilliant. With the GT3, Porsche took some of its best racing technology and applied it to a road car. And it was a great achievement. It was a statement to the rest of the motoring world that these guys are still the benchmark. But not everybody wants to make a statement. Some people just want to fly under the radar and enjoy their toys without shouting too loudly about it. And that's where this touring model excels. Sometimes less is definitely more.